Um, Hello, citizens um, of the world, or I can say this country. You may take a look at the shoes you're wearing right now, or at least just picture that iconic checkmark logo in your head. Yes, that logo, the shoes, yes, a logo that's supposed to represent speed, greatness, and their legendary slogans. Just do it. Yes, but have you ever wondered what happened just a few hours before those shoes were talking to that nice looking, clean orange boxes? So, here, in the 1997, a girl named Nguyen Thi Tu Quong didn't get a chance to just do it. She was 23 while she was trimming shoes in a Nike factory in Vietnam. What happened? A machine nearby just exploded. A piece of metal flew through the air and boom, it just hit her right in the heart. And yeah, you already know what happened. She died instantly. Um, Now, why am I telling you this? Because Wong's death wasn't just a random accident. It was the moment the world started to realize that the swoosh wasn't just about the sports anymore. It was something much more darker. Today, we're gonna talk about how a giant empire, a giant company, hit the wall because they forgot the most basic thing called humanity. Here, I got this case from this article. Um, you should be able to see this. Yeah, this is this is the hitting the wall. Nike and international labor practice. This article I got from the Harvard Business School. Look at here. Yep, that's it. And today we're gonna talk about it. Um, you know what? I'm about to call Nike a magic company. Why? Because technically, Nike doesn't actually make shoes. Yeah, that's you heard it right. Nike doesn't actually make a shoes. So Phil Knight, the so Phil Knight, the founder, was a marketing genius. He realized that owning a factory is a massive headache. You have to deal with many things, machines, maintenance, and most annoying for him at least, labor rights. So what is his move? Outsourcing. He moved productions to countries where labor was dirt cheap. Yes. First, they go to Japan, and then they expand into Korea, and then they continue to Indonesia, Vietnam, and China. Um, Nike's job was just to make the ads and look cool. Yes, and for the dirty work, that was someone else's problem. It's not the Nike's problem. So if a worker complained about some things like toxic fumes, or they just didn't have enough money to eat, Nike could just sure can say, that's not our factory. You can talk to the contractor. Fairly convenient, right? On paper, it was actually a perfect business model. It's perfect on paper, but in reality, it was a something like time bomb. Okay, so let's get into the math, because people can lie, but numbers, yeah, numbers are always honest. If you look, if you look at the case study, um, let's see which case study do I have. So basically, what they do, oh yeah, sorry, oh no, I'm sorry, it's the wrong one. I'm sorry, I forgot to. Yeah, okay, so here, if you look at the exhibit A, yeah, here, the exhibit A, I don't know if you were able to see it because my camera is mirrored, but let me explain it. So, if you look at the data here, the numbers are gut wrenching. In the early 90s in Indonesia, a night worker was paid for about 2.1 what is it thousand rupiah a day, and with the inflation rate, it's about 1.18 US dollar. It's a day, yes, a day. And night defense was always, we're just following the local law. We pay for the minimum wage. Yeah, they really said that, which is it's very very annoying. But here's the thing, Jeff Ballinger, an activist, yes, yeah, Jeff Ballinger, he's an activist who spent years on the ground. Yeah, he found out that worker actually need at least 4 to 4.5 thousand rupiah just to survive. It's only to survive, to buy like a decent food, pay for a tiny room, and take a transportation or a bus to work. Um, so what does it mean? It means that they were working a full time for a $1 billion company, but they were literally what is it called? Starving every single day. Yes, yeah, they were in a deficit of life. And here's the kicker: Nike's advertising budget was nearly $1 billion. If Nike had to cut just 1%, only 1% of their ad budget, they could have doubled the wage of every single worker in Indonesia. But yeah, they could have just lifted thousands of family out of poverty. But they didn't. They they just didn't do that. Why? Because in their world, Michael Jordan's face is are more worth than thousands Indonesians' life. So yeah, let that sink in for a second. And the most mask of what's it? Yeah, yeah, the most what is it called? Mask of heaven, or mask of moment, or yeah, whatever is that, whatever it. Yeah, it happens when the director Michael Moore, uh, his name was, yes, Michael Moore, interviewed Phil Knight, and this is legendary. Moore asked him, what about 12-year-old working in factories in Indonesia? Is that okay with you? Um, and Knight corrected him. They're not 12-year-old working in a factories. The minimum age is 14. And then Morton asked, um, he asked like, okay, how about 14 then? Does that bother you? And uh, Phil Knight looked him in the eye and he just said, no. Imagine the CEO of world most famous brand, sorry, saying that a 14-year-old kid working in a sweet shop for our luxury sneakers is totally fine. That quote became the sound of the wall that Nike was about to hit. And at that moment, Nike wasn't a sport brand anymore. They were the villain in a movie. And uh, it wasn't just a kid. In Vietnam, workers were being punished for being, yeah, and be, sorry, and and being forced to run under the sun until they fainted, because they weren't wearing the right shoes. The irony is so thick that it's sickening me. But wait, it gets worse for them. The world started to fight back, yeah, to fight in back. If you look at the which sorry, exhibit number 11 in the document here. Yeah, you may not able to read it because it's mirrored, but let me read it for you. So in the exhibit number 11, um, you'll see this Donsbury comic. This was public shaming at its finest, in my opinion. So they took Nike's own ad and flipped them. The ad said, when you need a break, and when it's time to take care of yourself for yourself, because it's never too late to have a life. It's the Nike advertisement, and this destroyed. Yeah, and the comic. Yeah, sorry, and the comic is look. It showed a woman in Indonesia that has been working for 16 hours a week just for pennies. And this is really destroyed Nike's cool factor. Because when college kids in the US started protesting, Nike panicked. Because if the cool kid thinks your brand is evil, then you're dead. It's over. You don't have a future anymore. And it's just, yeah, it's hard to recover from that. And because of that, the CEO, Phil Knight, finally stood up in the 1998, 1998, and he said that the Nike product has become, what is it, synonymous with slave labor. He didn't say we are using slave labor. He didn't say that, but he said people think we are. Yeah, it's a classic PR move, but um, he was playing the victim while being the one holding the whip. But hey, it worked. It worked. Yeah, I don't know how the hell that happened, but it worked. So they started raising the age limit, improving the air quality, and also letting monitors in. But we have to ask, did they do it because they found a conscience, or because the stock market price was crazy? You already know the answer. Yeah. So what's the point of this whole story? The case isn't just a business lesson. It's a reminder that in our globalized world, our comfort, the shoes we use uh, every time, everywhere, the phones we use is often paid by the suffering of people that we will never meet. We never know. Uh, Branding and storytelling can build a kingdom. It can make you feel like an athlete just by wearing a logo. But without uh, integrity, uh, that is just house of cards, as we saw with the Nike. It only takes one wall to be removed, and it's all just crashing down. It all will crash down. Yeah. And my name is Bangkit Bayu Alvaris. Like Phil Knight says, at the end of the day, they have changed, but the scars of history just doesn't disappear. And stay critical. Look beyond the flashy ads, and as always, stay rational. And see you in the next